You are now witnessing the third live interview on the Indus Corner podcast. It's your boy Ty Finney, aka the Legend. Man, I got a special guest in the building. Former WBO junior lightweight champion Jamel Heron. Jamel, what's going on with you, man?
Everything's good, bro, man. Nice to finally get up with you. I know we've been planning this out for a couple of weeks, but like I said, I've been busy,
Yeah,
zigzag the road. But it's good. It's good to finally sit down with you, bro.
yeah. Now I appreciate the opportunity, man. You know,
That's all up.
Yeah, like I said, you are the very first, former, champion that I have on my podcast. You're a champion, so this is a big opportunity for me.
Okay, I
Yeah,
appreciate that. No, it's all love, man. It's all love, man.
yeah. And before we get started, and before I go ahead and jump into the interview and ask you some questions, I'm gonna just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from Maryland. I went to my very first professional boxing card back in 2005. Yeah, and I also went to my first amateur card in 2005. So ever since I went to the first fight, man, I love the
You got
atmosphere.
hooked. You got
I,
hooked.
yeah, I love the crowd. The cheering. Ever since then, man, I fell in love with the sport. And here we are in 2022. I've still been going to fights. You know what I'm saying? So
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
yeah,
We
yeah, I
need.
went to
We
three
love, we
three
love to
fights
see it.
this year.
We love to see it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, so and next year I'm going to the Javante Tank Davis fight versus Hector Garcia. So like 18, 19 years strong. Going to fights. You know what I'm saying? I'm
I
still,
mean, now you gotta represent. You gotta represent. Maryland out there. You know what I mean? Be
yeah,
more
facts,
DMV
facts,
area. Everybody out there.
yeah, facts, man. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start it off, man. Like, so tell me, like, how did you first get into boxing?
Oh, my friend, my close friend Ashanti Hendrickson. Shout out to Ashanti, man. He introduced me to boxing back in high school for me. You know what I mean? I started late. I started late in the game, but
Mm-hmm.
his father was a trainer, so his father was actually my first trainer, and we're actually still close to this day. But that's how I really got started in it. I just wanted to do something different. I used to do track, play ball, and I did everything. You know what I mean? As a grown up, so. But boxing for me, it just stuck with me, and as you see, I stayed with it.
Yeah. So like how many amateur fights? Like, tell me about your amateur background.
Me, I actually, because due to my military at the time, my military schedule,
Mm-hmm.
I had under literally 100 fights as an amateur. I had maybe like if I counted last time, it was like 92 fights altogether.
Wow.
But I was still fortunate to get the experience to make the Olympic team back in 2012. But yeah, I mean, I had to learn quick and play catch up and during my amateur career. But I always tell kids now, especially with me being on the management side, I always tell kids like your amateur record is basically your resume going into the pros. Like you'll have a better chance of getting picked up by someone big in terms of promotion, and you make more money by your just your list of accolades as an amateur.
Okay. Yeah. So did you start your amateur like in New York? Your amateur
Yeah,
career?
yeah,
Did you
yeah,
start
yeah,
in New
yeah,
York?
definitely,
Okay.
definitely. I mean, I was fighting way back in the day with my boy Danny Jacobs. Daniel
Yeah.
Jacobs and them cats back in the day. So yeah, I come from the same neck of the woods as them in terms of
Gotcha.
the New York scene back in the day.
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna ask you next. Like, you fought Danny Jacobs in the amateurs, right?
Yeah, that was my first loss as an amateur.
Okay. Wow.
I think it was at 132 pounds like that as a kid. So yeah, I mean, yeah, me and Danny, we got history.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you, like, because I didn't know if you started your amateur career in New York or if you started in like
Nah,
Ohio.
I started in New York. I started out in New York
Okay.
for
Yeah,
sure.
far as your amateur career, like was there any like distractions, like anything like that could really like drive you away from boxing? Cause I know like, when guys are
I mean,
young,
yeah,
they like to
especially
party
in
and
New
stuff.
York.
Like,
Yeah, especially like in New York, it's easy to get distracted. Like you can just, especially when you a kid though. You a kid, you
right.
want to do your own thing. You want to be out there in the streets,
Hmm.
having fun and doing whatever. But like, it's definitely easy to get distracted, even as a pro. Man, matter of fact, probably even worse as a pro, especially when you start making like more money and getting more exposure and acknowledgement. That's when the people start trying to latch on to you at times. But yeah, it's definitely easy to get distracted. But when you want something really bad, you tend to learn how to tune those things out.
Right. Yeah. So was it like distractions? Was it worse in New York or was it like worse in Ohio? 'Cause I know New York. Like, were
I
you
think I
like
think
more?
I think it's worse in New York, honestly,
Yeah.
because there's just more stuff to get into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out there in New York, there's a lot more to do. Like when I'm in Ohio, I'm a homebody. You know what I mean? I just be chilling and just staying in myself. But like when I'm home, there's just definitely more that you can get out and go to, and especially when you grew up there, you know a lot of people also, so you easily get hooked up with this person to go do this, that, and the third. So yeah, I think New York is definitely a bigger distraction.
Yeah. For sure. So like how old were you? I know you started late, but how old were you when you first turned pro? And like how did it feel for you?
I turned pro right when I just had turned, I think like 26, coming out of the
Okay.
Olympics. So like even then, I had to get on the fast track. So like I like my whole career, I always had to play catch up. But if you stay
Right.
disciplined and everything like that, it really does take a toll on you. Like you can see me right now, I ain't been in the ring since what May, but I don't put on tons of weight, and I don't fully get out of shape where I'm undisciplined. Like if I want to jump back in, I can jump back in it.
Right. Yeah. So like also like when did you first like relocate to Ohio, and how did you balance that out? Moving to Ohio and balancing your boxing career.
I actually moved out here right after the Olympic Games 2012. After the London Games, because my first professional trainer, Mike Stafford, he lives out here in Cincinnati. He trains Rashid Warren, who was my one of my Olympic teammates. Adrian Brown, of course. He had Robert Easter at that point in time as well. So it was just the smart thing to do was just to relocate where I can just solely focus on boxing, 24/7, especially going in, as a as a young prospect, just staying in the gym all the time.
Yeah. So that was gonna be my next question. Like how often did you be in the gym and train with guys?
I was in the
All the
gym
guys in Ohio.
every
You
day.
know.
Every day we was in the gym every
Yeah.
day. So like
Yeah.
even when we didn't have a fight coming up, we was always in the gym working. You know what I mean? We was just trying to stay sharp, or we was helping out others that was getting ready for fights themselves. So we was always helping each other and working and building.
Yeah. So did you ever train with the guys like Broner, Robert
Yeah, like I said,
Easter?
we was in the gym all together every day. Every day we was
Yeah.
in the gym for several years, and we still, we're still close. We're still close now to this day.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But like, yeah, we was literally either here or we was in Colorado Springs in training camp. But we was always all together, and we was always grinding and working.
Oh yeah. So
Especially like, me, Rashid, Robert, Adrian. We even had a training camp out there in Vegas with Floyd in Floyd's gym, out there in the
oh, yeah.
Mayweather boxing facility. So we was always together, like up until like maybe like 2016, 17, honestly. Like we was always together.
Oh yeah. So y'all actually like travel and train too?
Yeah, definitely,
Oh,
definitely. We was, yeah. I mean, like especially like I said, there be times when we say like maybe like Robert had a fight, but we'll all be there, going to support him and so on.
oh, that's what's up, man. Yeah, I didn't know y'all all travel and train
Yeah,
like that. Y'all probably thought it was just probably something that y'all do in Ohio, but yeah, I didn't know y'all all travel and train together.
we was basically a band of brothers for sure. We was definitely together a lot around those years.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Yeah, so I was gonna throw some other names in there. Did you ever train with like Terrell Goucher,
Yeah.
Montana Love, or
No,
Jared Anderson?
Montana, my guy, but we never trained together. Me and Terrell, we were Olympic teammates, and even recently when I trained in California, we trained under the same trainer, Manny Robles. So I would always see Terrell. Like we would go out on runs together, and everything. My man Ray Now Williams from Cleveland, he's another one that used to be with us a lot back in the day as well. Shout out to my man Ray Now. But like, yeah, I mean, from Cleveland, Toledo, Cincinnati, whatever, and Dayton, a lot of those guys, a lot of us, we used to always click up and train and get some work in.
Okay. Did you ever like train with Sean Porter?
Sean Porter, nah, we actually trained at one point. Like I said again, I believe it was when I was in Vegas. I actually trained him and his father's gym at one point, getting ready for one of my fights. But no, me and Sean, we never trained together, but me and Sean, we used to always come across each other a lot, especially when I was with PBC. I mean, I used to always see Sean, so we used to always cross paths a lot back in the day.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, and the only reason I asked you that, because yeah, I know Porter's from Ohio, but back in 2008, I seen Sean Porter debut right here in my town in Maryland. So that's why I
Right?
asked
Yeah,
you that.
yeah, no, yeah. Sean always been moving around with his career. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
he gonna go where the fights is at. He gonna get it how he can. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So how did it feel to beat Ito and become world champion? Like, cause when I watched your fight, man, you had the Marines there, you had Terrence Crawford there. And, when they announced in the news, you fell on your knees. You was real emotional. So how was
Right.
that time for you? Because I know you've been through a
Well,
lot to make it to that stage.
yeah, that's one of the greatest films in the world because a lot of people were counting me out. You know what I mean? Like no one was expecting me to beat Ito. They was already expecting Ito to have a fight lined up after me against Burchell for unification. But when I spoiled those plans, especially on my daughter's birthday, my daughter who passed away from SIDS when she was 2 months old, that would have been her 10th birthday. So it was a lot riding on that day, Memorial Day as well. So for my military family, so it was definitely a lot. But it's probably one of the greatest moments of my career.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you defended your title against Carl Frampton and with Jonathan Oquendo, how was it like to fight with no crowd, because it was COVID time, so how was it like? Was it as intense as if it
Was
was a
weird.
crowd there?
It was weird, man. It was
It's weird.
weird. Like all you hear is basically your corner, his corner, and maybe a few people that were in the area that was working. But other than
Yeah,
that, it was a different space. But like I said, we had to get it done to stay active and busy and keeping
facts.
some. You seen a lot. If you look, you seen a lot of fighters go through a lot of issues during the pandemic, either because of inactivity in the ring rush showed, or like guys like my case. I mean, there's a lot of fighters that caught COVID, and afterwards they didn't perform the same because they were still fighting the virus out of the system or whatever. But yeah, it was definitely different.
Yeah. So like even though people watching from home, it still didn't have that intensity to it.
Nah, it didn't have that. It didn't have that. You need the crowd. Like the crowd plays.
Yeah.
The crowd plays a huge part. A huge like I said, the crowd is very needed in a lot of high profile fights. Even at the lower levels, sometimes that crowd energy can give you that extra boost and push you through.
Yeah. So like when you fought Shakur Stevenson, was there any animosity or any beef between y'all, or was it just like straight business or straight professional?
I mean, there was at in terms of the build up, there was animosity. There
Yeah.
was. I'm not one to beef, like that.
Right.
But it definitely was. The tensions was high on both sides. There was definitely a lot of animosity, because we had a lot to prove in our own way. But like I said, that crowd even in Atlanta, it was a wild atmosphere. But in the end, what I'm saying, we came out, what I mean, we showed love. We're good friends to this day. Matter of fact, like I'll hit him up even now, check on him, see how he was doing, or he'll do the same, and we'll just talk about everything, the current state of boxing, or what's going, or like our families. Him being basically a new father. So we'll speak on parenthood and everything. So yeah, me and Shakur, we're cool.
You cool. Yeah, because I know y'all got a picture together, but I didn't know if that picture was like before y'all fought or after y'all fought.
I think we got a few after before, but we definitely got pictures before, but we got pictures after before also. Like we've been in the same, because like I said, I went to as a commentator now, I called him, I think two of his fights. So I would go back, I would go to the back where he's warming up. I embrace him, show him love, wish him the best of luck, and let him go do his thing.
Okay, yeah. Because I asked that because I know, like, even after fight, sometimes it could still be, animosity between fighters.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it happens, but that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case with me and Shakur. It was just, it is what it is. I still want to see him do great things. I'll hit him up before his fights to let him know, hey, we just thinking about you, bro. Handle business, do what you got to do.
Yeah. So one more thing, you said how close are you with Terrence Crawford? I know he was there to support you.
Buddy's fan. Buddy's family. Same goes for Errol Spence. Errol Spence is my brother as well. Me and Errol trained together on the Olympic team. Me and Bud trained together as professionals. Bud he's a big influence in terms of me getting to my world title. He played a major role helping me get there as well. So I'll never forget those things like that, and I always be grateful and humble. So yeah, it's love. It's all love in Omaha still.
Yeah. So yeah, but when I was asking you about you and Shakur, well, like, was there any beef? Because at the weigh-in, he kept touching your belt, and you was pushing his hand away.
That's just Shakur for you, man. But nah,
Yeah.
but me, I ain't paying no mind. I look at it as part of the build up. I ain't take it personally. I mean, I know a lot of people that was, witnessing it was taking it more personal on both sides. But for me, it was just like, it's just marketing. I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, because like some weigh-ins, some weigh-ins get heated, some weigh-ins are respectful. Like we can take Big Baby Miller and Anthony Joshua, even though they were never fought. I was watching the press conference, and as soon as they came face to face, Big Baby pushed Anthony Joshua, and he seemed like he didn't get mad or anything.
No, it never got to that level where we had where we got physical during
Right.
press conferences and things like, or even the weigh-in.
Yeah.
It never got out of line. Nothing like that.
Right. Right. So are you officially retired from boxing? Like, I mean, is there a comeback?
I don't know right now. Honestly, man, I gotta get my right shoulder checked out. I've been having issues with
Okay.
for a few amount of years now. As a matter of fact, before I even fought Ito, I had issues with my right shoulder, always tightening up at times. So that's when times you stop seeing me using the jab. But like it's gotten to a point where it started to bother me more and more over time. So it was like, why I'm away from boxing? I might as well, get that looked at, which I'm working on now. Scheduling to get an MRI and everything like that done for my shoulder. But I mean, honestly, I just have to go from there and see what happens from there. Like I'm not shutting the door from boxing completely because I love the sport. But
But
right now, I gotta just take care of my body first, and then we'll see what happens from there.
yeah, so have your shoulder, has it ever messed you up from having a fight?
If you go back to the Ito fight, look in those. I say like rounds 5, no, like maybe like 6, 7, 8ish, those mid rounds, and you'll see me like I refrain from throwing them so much because it started to get real like real tight in my shoulder. So I had to I had to shake it out for a while, and then I would go back to pumping the jab again. But over time, I think it just started to catch up to me, and I was just like, you know what, let me just take this time now to really take care of myself and see what's going on, and we'll go from there. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, it's whatever.
Yeah, but you still won on all the judges' scorecards when you fought Ito. So
I mean,
even though
you gotta. One thing about me, you gotta rally up to those early rounds because you may need it. Maybe a time you probably take a round or two off. So for me, it's like let me rack up as many rounds as I can. For me, if it was up to me, I wouldn't win every round, but I think every round is important. I don't believe in being a slow starter. I want to start. I want to start off fast and fresh.
right. Yeah, that reminds me of Gary Russell and Mark Magasayo because I went to that fight earlier this year.
Right.
Russell, he had he basically fought with a bad shoulder. You can see him yelling in pain and stuff when he was fighting. So
Right.
I know some fighters they go into the ring with these injuries, but they
Yeah,
say
I don't think any fighter. I'm just I don't complain like that because I don't think I say like at least 98% of fighters never go into a fight 100%. They go into something
yeah,
from training camp or so on. There's always going to be there to niche at them at times. So like, I mean, it may not be a big issue, but at the same time, I don't think any fighter goes into a fight 100% especially after like long, rigorous training camps.
wow, wow, yeah. So like you commentating at fights now, right?
Right.
Yeah, so like after if you don't fight no more, it's like commentating something you can see yourself
Yeah,
doing, full time.
that's easy. Yeah, I mean, for me, that's easy because I still get to, be involved in the sport that I love, and I get to call now. I get to watch fights up close, on the ring,
Right.
and just enjoy it from there. And I enjoy sharing my opinion. So yeah, it's a dope feeling.
That's what's up, man. So like what upcoming fights are you gonna be commentating there?
Right now I'm scheduled to do one from Vegas in the studio for the I'm about to say Ito. Now the monster in a way he's fighting December 13th, I believe. I'm going out to Vegas in a week or two or whatever. and I'm gonna go commentate. I'm gonna go commentate from the studio while for the fight that's happening in Japan. And I think after that, we'll have to see what's in the new year because right now, boxing's winding down because the year is ending.
Right.
So we'll see from there.
Yeah. So aside from commentating, do you see yourself like maybe like training or are you training or maybe like opening gyms or anything like that?
Me and my brother and my partner, my Jerry, everybody calls him JC. He's from LA. We have our own management company, First to Fight Management. So we actually we're working with fighters in that way. We're not training fighters, but we're managing fighters and getting them to where they need to be at. Like it's like every month or so we're growing with more and more, clientele. So I stay busy doing that, when I'm not commentating.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So my last question is like, who's your like favorite fighter now? Like, who's your favorite upcoming fighter? Like me, my favorite fighter right now is like Jamel Charlo, and like one of my favorite upcoming fighters is Keyshawn Davis.
Yeah, shout out to my man Keyshawn. Me and Keyshawn, we
You know?
trained together as well back in the day too. We
Oh yeah, train.
when he was still when he was still amateur. So Keyshawn Davis is one of them. Also, I think one of my favorite upcoming fighters coming up is my boy, who I manage also, Michael Gamble, and my other boy, Tiger Johnson. Tiger Johnson is a unique talent. Micaiah Crep, she's another one. She's another one that's making waves out there. In terms of my current fighters who I like watching today, there's so many because I respect a lot. Like there's guys like Canelo, Errol, Bud, in a way who I'm be commentating, for soon. This is like I said, the list goes on. I respect a lot of these fighters because they have different dynamics and tools, but they're unique in their own ways. So for me, I just can't pick one. But like, there's a lot of young cats that's coming up that I want to see, on that world level, seen soon.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much all the questions I have for you, man. I want to thank you for three things, man. I want to thank you, for coming on my podcast, doing this interview with me. I want to thank you, for serving our country.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I want to thank you, for giving us, boxing fans the good fights.
I mean, yeah, like I said, who knows? I'm working on God's plan, but if I return, I'm definitely going to continue to take it as serious as I always have done. But what I mean, because I really enjoy. I still enjoy fighting, but yeah, man, it's definitely like I said. I don't have any regrets the way my career went at all.
Okay. Yeah, especially you said because you said you started late. You started late, but at the end of the day, you still became a world champion. You still had successful title defenses. So yeah, you did your thing, man, for sure.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah. So let me get into a couple of these comments. It's only a few of them. It's a guy, Chris G, in the building. He said, "Yo, this is so cool."
What's going on, Chris?
So big shout out to Chris, and he says, when I first saw Heron, he fought Ito, and then I knew he was going to easily outbox Lamont Roach.
That was another good fight too, man. Shout out to my man Lamont Roach, man, because he was like I said, he was a young undefeated fighter, 10 years younger than me. So that's a fight that I actually still hold near and dear to my heart as well. So, but yeah, and definitely, obviously the Carl Frampton fight is probably my biggest win on my resume. So. Yeah, man. Like I said, I had no regrets. Like I mean, even fighting Shakur, I was shooting for greatness. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I wish a lot more fighters today would, try to risk it all more. But it is what it is in the state of boxing. That's where we're in.
Facts. So, like, let's just say you do get your shoulder taken care of, you think we'll see a comeback?
Yeah, I mean, I go back down to super featherweight. All right, like I said, I still speak with my nutritionist. She checks up on me all the time, making sure I'm still taking care of myself. I know, like I said, I know a lot of people actually want me to come back, which is wild. But like I said again, like I'm not gonna come back unless I'm 100%, or at least able to do what I want to do in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so many fighters, that announce retirement, and then next thing you seeing right back. Like we could take Floyd. Yeah, you could take Floyd. He's after Oscar De La Hoya, he announced retirement. Then he ditched retirement, fought Ricky Hatton.
Right.
And he announced retirement again. Came back for Juan Manuel Marquez. And we got Tyson Fury. he announced retirement now. He's back fighting. So
he's fighting soon. He's coming up.
Yep, yeah, he fight this Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah. So man, like that's all the questions I have for you, man. This live, you've been doing it for 25 minutes, so 25 minutes strong. Like I said, man, I appreciate the opportunity.
No, all love, man. Like I said, we'll do it again sometime, and maybe we'll talk about it if I do come back. Okay. That day. So we'll talk again, though, man.
All right. So yeah, man, give us your social media before we close this one out. Like, where can we find you at?
Everyone can find me on Twitter, Instagram at Jamel Herring. I keep it real simple. And everyone who knows me out there, I communicate with everyone out there. So yeah, so I'm easy to find.
All right. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram as TheLegend3347. I'm on Facebook as Ty Finney, and you just witnessed the third interview on the Indus Corner podcast with your boy Ty Finney and Jamel Herring. We'll see y'all on the next one, man. All right.
All love, man. All love.